One of my favorite things about video games is when they catch me completely off guard. Playing something for the first time and having my expectations subverted is what I live for. And it's how I found some of my favorite games in recent memory. However, after spending years trying to unearth racing and driving games I've never played, there are so few left that I'm genuinely blind to that having a completely unexpected experience with the genre is a rare treat. And that's why, for the last 15 years or so, I've desperately wanted to try out Pimp My Ride, the video game, for Xbox 360. But I never found a copy of it. It wasn't until recently I stumbled upon a copy, and decided that my first ever experience with the game would be live streamed on Twitch. And let me tell you, that was a good fucking call, because Pimp My Ride certainly subverted my expectations. Not by being good, but by being worse than I could ever imagine. Look, this game is not to be taken seriously. I couldn't make an analysis video with a straight face. But the things I experienced in my very short time with Pimp My Ride demand to be shared with the world, so this is going to be a somewhat experimental video for me. Stick around and let me know what you think, because this might be a good way to cover some of the less serious games out there. Pimp My Ride was developed by Eutechnyx, a British studio who I've had more than a few encounters with in the past. Eutechnyx are best known for their disastrous Ride to Hell Retribution, but despite what that association may imply, most of their games actually aren't horrible, just mediocre and forgettable, with a few decent exceptions here and there. Something I have to get out of the way pretty early on into this video is that Pimp My Ride is, undoubtedly, the worst game Eutechnyx have ever made, and it's not even close. Ride to Hell may be fucking atrocious, but it generally functions on a basic level. Pimp My Ride does not. And there is no better summation of that than what happened the very first time I took control. Just gonna accept some drive around. So good news, guys. That hard crashed the Xbox. Surely not a sign of things to come. It was, in fact, a sign of things to come. The second time around, the game did not crash, instead beginning by allowing me to select a ride to pimp, and set me loose into Pimp City, tasked with raising a few $1,000s with which to do the pimping. Within seconds, I knew Eutechnyx had done it again. How a studio that had primarily made racing games could make cars feel this bad, I got no clue. But this is certainly an experience I won't be forgetting anytime soon. This is an experience, I gotta say. Oh my god, this feels like the fucking Transformers game. Pimp My Ride's vehicles feel like hollow chunks of steel sitting atop plastic, brittle tires, like some sort of adult-sized Power Wheels toy, which is coincidentally about how much all of the cars in this game actually weigh. One of the few shaky pillars of Pimp My Ride's gameplay is just free roaming about, traffic checking random cars. Oh my god! Holy fuck, whoever was driving that car is deceased. Despite looking charmingly, let's say, of its time, Pimp My Ride is a UI/UX nightmare. Pressing buttons during the initial cutscene ends the cutscene, but doesn't skip it, simply booting you back to the main menu. This is rapidly becoming worse than I expected. The dots on the map aren't actually static, they shift around in relation to the player's movement, meaning sometimes dots will just be in the middle of the ocean. The options menus have slow, flashy animations that prevent you from actually operating them for a couple seconds each, and the menus are super bare bones to begin with. There's no subtitles, chat, so if you are hard of hearing, go fuck yourself, I guess? Eventually, I decided to do what the game wanted me to do and head to some of the events on the map. As bad as these cars felt, maybe conquering them well enough to win races would be a rewarding experience in its own way. Except, Pimp My Ride contains no races. At all. If you want exhibit-flavored racing, you'll be better served by the sequel, Pimp My Ride Street Racing, a PlayStation 2 exclusive from 2009. The events in the original game, though, are mostly about showing off your car and impressing a crowd full of low-poly, faceless beings. Most of these center around the concept of ghost riding the whip, letting the car creep forward while dancing alongside it. This is accomplished by playing stupidly unchallenging rhythm QuickTime events, set to generic, likely royalty-free hip-hop instrumentals. This is exceedingly boring, far too much so for it to be a significant portion of Pimp My Ride's gameplay. So instead, please enjoy this much funnier clip of the dance animations sped up and set to the 3DS Street Pass Plaza music. This Nokia product placement, if a game's UI looked like this, I would, as Nokia, pay them not to put my phone in the game. I don't know what cruise control is. Is there any racing in this? I'll give you exactly one guess what happened again. Okay, before we continue, I'm going to quickly connect my Xbox to the internet and download a patch for this, because I'm assuming that's what's going on here. But there was no patch to download. The game is just like this, and despite repeatedly, forcibly making me aware of the game's autosave feature, it did not autosave my progress. I was back to square one. It was extremely tempting to let myself quit playing then and there, but I decided that, for the greater good, I must persevere. So I dove back in and started anew, selecting Andrea's vehicle this time around. Upon loading back into free roam, I discovered another type of open world objective: setting your cruise control to 10 miles per hour so everyone sees you roll past. Oh, okay. Holla. What? Surprise, it's just more QuickTime events. We also located a man with an odd glow to him, marked by a star on the map, but neither I nor chat could figure out why or how to activate him. And why is this dude, why does he have an aura? He's the stand user. I slogged through more ghostwriting minigames and traffic checking until earning the $5,000 and odd dollars I needed to pimp Andrea's convertible. When I reached that threshold, the game presented me with an alarmingly short countdown timer until pimping would begin. It also served as a countdown to the moment where I knew that all the pain and suffering the game had and would soon put me through was worth it.
Oh man, another one. This drop top looks like it's about to drop dead.
Fucking nightmare fuel. Her eyes don't move. Her eyes don't move.
So this is my ride, X. The car salesman told me to bring my ride.
Andrea, that's what they say to you when the car they trying to sell you is a classic piece of junk. You know?
There is no way. No fucking way that this was worked on for longer than a week. Behind the wheel of Andrea's car, I was tasked with racing between upgrade shops to handle the titular pimping of the ride. First stop, paint, because nothing says pimpin' like a flat yellow paint job. So they threw me a curveball. What? Oh, for fuck's sake. Every car upgrade shop has a QuickTime event for the actual installation of whatever modification you've selected. Performing well in the QTE means you'll pay less for the part. Failing means you pay full price. Oh. Oh my god, that was a that makes complete fucking sense. These minigames are all Wii minigames translated to fucking Xbox face buttons because they didn't know what to do with them. Holy shit, this was probably a lead platform Wii game. We thought we'd solved at least part of the mystery of this game's puzzling design, but no. Later discussion with a friend revealed that Pimp My Ride was probably not a Wii game first, since that version came out almost a year and a half later in 2008. This raises more questions than it answers, not the least of which being how you Technics managed to include waggle minigames before waggle minigames were even a trope on a console without motion controls. Beyond the obvious tedium and contrivance of the QTE mechanics, their most glaring flaw is that you're never actually told what the QuickTime event will be. After making a selection, you're suddenly presented with a timer and a meter to indicate progress. While these QTEs could not be accused of being challenging, it's certainly fair to want to know what you're expected to do before being thrown off the deep end. Maybe the thought process here was that you'd remember the minigames for each shop for future trips. But I'm gonna be real with you, I doubt very many people made it that far.
Andrea, your bruiser was black and blue when we picked it up, but no longer. Take a look at your new ride. Come on, let's take a closer look.
Our poorly animated Mark loved her new banana-colored whip. You can tell from her expressive animations that she was just overjoyed at what we'd done to her car. We curb-stomped the rival Pimper easily.
What? Body kit, rims, interior, in-car entertainment, paint, custom. Exhibit? Fuck putting your points into swimming. I'm gonna put all my character points into exhibit.
I have to say, all of the hilariously bad design decisions aside, I was enjoying myself. It's been a long time since a game had so consistently caught me off guard with its shittiness. This is the sort of experience I was starting to wonder if I'd ever have again. My faith was renewed, and I wasn't alone for the experience. It didn't last long, though. After yet another ghostwriting minigame, Eutechnics struck again.
I'm gonna go do the cruise control because they're fast. Yeah.
Not one to be easily discouraged, I rebooted to try again, and thankfully, my progress saved. And that was about my limit. The Pimp My Ride saga will continue on Twitch one day, but it's clear that playing this game to any meaningful level of completion is going to entail a lot of patience, something that I was fresh out of at this point in time. I decided the rest of that evening's stream would be a Eutechnics special, so we went on to play Hummer Badlands, which...
Probably related to the train, because, like, it's... up. Huh? Huh?
also broke. And then we rounded it out with Street Racing Syndicate, a game that I think is kind of decent, actually. I'll talk about it sometime. Anyways, as you may have surmised from the direction of this video, I've finally returned to a regular-ish stream schedule, and I've made the decision to move the live streams back to Twitch. I've got all sorts of fun ideas planned. Arcade games and emulation, gaming oddities both good and bad, some co-op and friends streams, and at least for now, a weekly Need for Speed stream on Saturday mornings. I'd love if you'd join me there, as well as on YouTube. And make no mistake, my normal formats of content aren't going anywhere. I'm just going to be experimenting a bit with alternative styles to keep things fresh. Feedback is always welcome, and if you'd like to see both the YouTube videos and Twitch streams become longer and more numerous, supporting me on Patreon, Ko-fi, or just by liking this video and subscribing to me would be greatly appreciated. At any rate though, I appreciate all of you so incredibly much for the support you've shown over the last few months, and I hope this video was to your liking, even if it wasn't my normal type of thing. I've got a laundry list of projects sitting at various stages of completion right now, so while I may not know with what I will return, I know it won't be too long.